Djamel, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon in lovely Lisbon.
Good afternoon.
So, first off, before we transition into all of this, I want to hear. So, you've been in this job as CEO of Viber for what is it, 10 or 11 months?
Yeah, about a year actually, yeah.
So almost a year. Before that, you were Senior Vice President of Global Sales at Cheetah Mobile. So how and why did you make the transition from Cheetah Mobile sales to running the third largest messaging platform in the world?
Before I was in the mobile advertising space, so I was running a mobile ad tech company, and I was helping my clients to get their app downloaded by people around the globe. And I saw a massive change in the user behavior on the phone. 6 years ago, users were downloading up to 50 apps a month. They were spending, the top 5 apps represented something like 40% of their time. Last year, the users downloaded in average 2 apps per month, and they were spending 80% of their time in 5 apps. And those 5 apps, 4 of those 5 apps are messaging apps. So the attraction, the audience of the messaging apps is growing not only in terms of numbers of users, but also in terms of engagement, which gives an opportunity, a fantastic opportunity to messaging apps to become some kind of mega apps, mega platform, where users can find out of services. And the second reason why I joined is because I met an incredible team with more than 35 nationalities. Viber is a very exciting company.
Got it. So earlier this year, Viber made some pretty big efforts or movements into e-commerce. You introduced a way for users to send each other links to products and images, which can be bought, inside the app itself.
Yeah.
How is that doing so far?
So we have decided to launch this project very soon after my arrival because we saw that the users share a lot of product they like. They share the brand they like, they share the nice product they see, especially new products. And I spent a lot of time looking for the product outside the app and copy, paste, and come back. So we launched beginning in partnership with a startup, a San Francisco startup, an instant shopping keyboard, which is the ability within a chat to browse catalogs that the brand that you like, select a product, and send it and share to the chat in one tap. And of course, the recipient can also reshare, transfer, and both can go to the mobile website or the mobile app of the retailer to buy this product. And we launched it only in the US for the time being because we want to focus on this market to build our product. And it was so successful after 3 months. We had more than 25% of our user base in the US using on a recurring basis the feature, sharing almost once a day. The average is 29 per month. Almost one product once a day, sorry. And 35% of those sharing were creating a link to the mobile website of the retailer. So those ratios are incredible because they are extremely high. So we understood that it was a clear need for our users. So we decided to go more. We decided to acquire the company, the San Francisco startup powering the feature. It's called ShopChat. And we are now building the platform at a global scale.
So it's my understanding that you see payments being a big, big component of Viber and your vision moving forward. Talk more about that.
So talking about payments it's a wide subject. Of course, we have a role to play in there, but we need to differentiate a little bit what I call the nice-to-have payments features and the vital payment features. Nice-to-have features probably are what other people call the social payments. The small money that you send to your friends that have paid for you the bill and you want to pay your share of the bill. The Venmo, like in the US, for example.
Right.
That are nice to have but not vital. Or the payment to utilities, for example, to pay a bill, to your energy bill or your rent through the platform. It's necessary. It's not necessary. It's nice to have. And you have vital payment features, and I think 2 vital payment features. One is for specific population, all the migrants or second-generation immigrants that have families abroad. They want to send money in those countries. So international remittance is a very important feature, and it's vital for those families. And the second type of feature which is vital is the e-commerce part, because we all know that the one-click payment option multiplied by 10 the conversion rate when you propose an e-commerce feature. So we have done a little bit of everything. In some countries like Russia, for example, we have launched a peer-to-peer payment solution plus utility bill payment. And in Western Europe and in the US, we are building, together with our shop chat feature, with our e-commerce feature, the ability to pay within Viber to buy a product. And the other thing we did in Western countries, Western Europe and US, we did a partnership with Western Union, and our users can send money, international remittance, to 190-something countries in the world.
So I want to focus a little bit more on the vital payments portion of things. You mentioned digital remittances, which I think is great. I know that PayPal is trying to do its own efforts with regards to digital remittances, and digital remittances itself can be a costly affair, right? The percentage or the cut or the fee that's involved with each transaction can be high.
Yeah.
Are you thinking or proposing, what would be the fee for digital remittances on Viber?
So honestly, I don't have the price in mind. It's true that it's an expensive transfer, and there are reasons behind. In most of the countries that are interested by this kind of transfer, the recipient will need probably to get some cash from one place that can be not a bank, someplace, somewhere. And this is a little bit costly because you need to transfer the money securely, and then you need to secure the cash, and the cash must be somewhere where the people will be able to receive it. So it's not a pure electronic transfer. When you're talking about electronic transfer from Western Europe to whatever countries in the world, it's not that expensive. What is expensive is when, for example, in case of emergency, you want to send cash to a family abroad or to your son or daughter lost somewhere in a backpacking tour in Africa. That can be a little bit expensive. So it's true that there is a cost behind, but there is also a service. There are plenty of players in this industry, and there are also some low-cost players that are launching the services. We're looking into those players as a solution for the future as well.
Got it. And then on the e-commerce side of things, do you foresee Viber taking a small cut of each transaction, or is this more of like an engagement play for you?
No, it's both. It's engagement and monetization.
Got it.
I've been recruited to monetize this company, and it's obviously one of the challenges that we have. I mean, the messaging app in general have an audience which is massive, almost incredible. But the monetization out of it is almost ridiculous in some cases. So we are clearly looking for engagement features, but also monetization feature. This is one monetization feature, yes.
Got it. I hate to bring up the competition, but I will. Certainly there are other players out there that are trying to do peer-to-peer payments or e-commerce efforts. Generally speaking, what are your thoughts on what they've been doing?
So generally speaking, what, sorry?
What are your thoughts on what Messenger might be doing or WhatsApp might be doing on the payments and the e-commerce side of things?
Different strategy. I mean, Messenger is a great product. They're a different concept. They are clearly at the top of the monetization. They're sending a lot of ads, and they are using a lot of the data that they have, including the chats themselves. Mm-hmm. So we don't. Our policy is to be encrypted and fully encrypted, so we don't use the content of the chats to target users with specific offers, which is something that other players do, like Messenger, of course. WhatsApp is in a different strategy, almost at the other side of the spectrum, because it's a very simple product. They try to focus on messaging and calls, and there's nothing else in WhatsApp, and they do that very well. But they don't. So far, they have not shown any willingness to become a platform, and that's a little bit of difference with our strategy. We decided to transform the company from a messaging app to a communication platform, from which you can exchange more than only words, but also exchange the content you can find in third-party services directly from Viber, and that's what we're trying to do. And it's a slightly different strategy.
Thanks. We switch over to the non-vital side of payments. You mentioned the peer-to-peer payments, which is extremely popular when you think of like your services like Venmo. Yeah. When you say non-vital, does that mean you don't foresee them being potential revenue streams for Viber?
When I say non-vital, I'm saying that I don't know how many times in a week you have this need yourself in your life, but me, it's about once a month. So it's not vital. Sending a message, calling, it's more vital. This is not vital. And the other thing is there are plenty of solutions out there, especially in the Western world. The Venmo likes and the PayPal and et cetera, have plenty of solutions. It's a product which is nice to have, and once more, we have it in some countries. In Russia, we have it, it's nice to have, but we see the reaction of our users. They are not jumping into the sky saying, well, that's great. They're just saying it's cool, it's a nice feature, but nobody will download Viber because of this. It's a nice to have feature.
Got it. To follow up to that, one of the features has become so synonymous with a service like Venmo is that social media feed, right? It's like, I paid you, Djamel, for sushi last night. If and when peer-to-peer payments comes to Viber, do you foresee Viber's own version of a social media feed?
No, we are not a social network, and we won't be a social network. It's pretty clear in our strategy that we are not going to invest in features to make you build your public face. I mean, it's not our. We have some public features for businesses, but we are not in the land of the Instagrams and of the world. It's not our business. We are a messaging platform. Our DNA is to connect people freely and securely, and that's what we're trying to do. So what you find on Viber is the ability to send for free your messages, your content, the one that you produce or the one that you like in other platforms in a secure and free way. And it's not about building your public appearance as a person, or we're not a social network.
So it's my understanding that I don't use Viber for this, but for this express purpose, I message my parents and my family out in the Philippines. But it's my understanding that Viber users can already wire money to one another. Can any engagement stats around that? How are people engaging around that?
With what? With payment?
Yeah, just wiring payments to one another. Yeah.
Well, it's we try to evaluate all new features with a KPI in mind, which is 10% of our user base must use it. Below 10%, we are not successful. Above 10%, we are successful. And this feature is a successful feature.
Got it. Great. Any other elements as part of your larger vision, Djamel, with how you see payments playing a core component of Viber?
Yeah, I mean, when you think about Viber is a very specific company in the space because we are owned by Rakuten, and Rakuten is known to be an e-commerce company, but it's actually a bank. And actually more than 50% of the profit of the group is coming from the banking services of Rakuten. And we are a bank in European Union, we are a bank in the US, we're a bank in Asia. So one of the clear direction that we have in mind is to try to integrate more banking services within our own services. And that's where the feature becomes a little bit more valuable for the users. If you can buy stuff, finance stuff that you like on Viber, if you can get rewards out of your purchase, if you can store your rewards in a wallet, for example, this is something that we look into, and that has probably more value for our users than the only peer-to-peer solution. Peer-to-peer, once more, is a nice to have, but it must come I consider it must come at Viber within more valuable features, like some kind of wallet.
Like some kind of wallet, you said?
Some kind of wallet.
Oh, got it. Understood. Well, Djamel, unfortunately, we're actually over time. But thank you so much for sharing your vision with the audience. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.